Yes guys, welcome back to another video. Welcome to the George Benson football channel for player ratings from Liverpool 0, Chelsea 1. Of course, we're only doing the Chelsea player ratings because we were absolutely sensational. Liverpool, 5 defeats at home in a row at Anfield. If you haven't yet seen the 6 things we learnt video or the time-stamped match live watch along that I did where you can see my live reactions to the goals, I will leave a link to both of those videos in the description. But this is the brand new series, episode 2, where we take the 6 things we learned, traffic light system, and we rate the Chelsea players based off of who I think should start the next game, how well I think we played during this game, and how we keep building under Thomas Tuchel for the future. Last night was an incredible result. I say last night, it was probably last night for you lot, but it was this morning for me. I was up very early for this one, and we played, in my opinion, without question, the best that we've played so far with Thomas Tuchel as our manager. I thought we were absolutely fantastic all the way from the goalkeeper, and we start off with Mendy today, who didn't have a single save to make for 85 minutes. Can you guys believe that? It took a Gini Wijnaldum header in the 85th minute of the game for Liverpool to actually register a shot on target, which is an absolutely incredibly mad stat. But I think it's not just Liverpool being poor that enabled that to happen. A lot of it is down to, I said it before the game, the shape and structure of this Chelsea team. I keep repeating it over and over again because we've become a formidable team to play against in terms of being able to break us down. It's near impossible. And, you know, Mendy had as perfect a game as he could have done. He was good with the ball at his feet when the ball was passed back to him, which has been a bit of a question amongst a few people regarding Mendy's ability. So for that reason, it's a huge win. So we're going to give him like the upper end of average today because, well, he was good, but he didn't have a lot to do. It's a 7 out of 10 for Mendy. And as a result of that, he gets a green light to start the next game at the weekend against Everton. I think it's Monday night, this one, maybe? Yeah, Monday night. The next player we're going to take a look at is the right centre-back, Cesar Azpilicueta. And I've changed my mind midway through this one because I wanted to actually make it clear when I do these player ratings who I actually thought was the best or most important in that position. But considering how we nullified Liverpool yesterday and Azpi had that flicked on overhead kick to set up Timo Werner for that chance that went begging in the first half where he gives it straight to Alisson, Azpilicueta, ever since Tuchel has come in, I actually did a podcast with Alex Goldberg and Matisse straight after I posted the 6 things video. I've been on a mad one today, by the way, so make sure you're subscribed so you don't miss any of the content. But I was talking a lot, and we were talking a lot about how Azpilicueta goes under the radar, you know, because Christensen, it's been a surprise to everybody that he's turned up like the Danish Maldini. It's been a bit of a surprise to me, and also many others in the Chelsea community as well, that Rudiger has come in and done what he's done to cement his place in this left centre-back role. With Azpi, over the years, so many people have written him off. So many people have thought that maybe now he's losing the pace. Maybe he's not as good as he once was. And he just keeps on turning up and doing the biz. So for that reason, in a near faultless defensive display from Chelsea, I know the ceiling for Azpilicueta is incredibly high, so I've given him an 8.5 out of 10, and I think it's a no-brainer at this point that he is, of course, a green box to definitely start the game against Everton on Monday night. We move into the Danish Maldini, the Danish Baresi, the Danish, I don't know, flipping all the best centre-backs in the world we could compare him to at the moment, Andreas Christensen. I know you might all be thinking, stop jumping the gun, Benson, you're getting a bit too far. I don't care. I'm going to lap up these performances for as long as I bloody can. Christensen was absolutely massive last night in that game against Liverpool, and today I've given him a 9.5, and I think it's because if he scored a goal, he would have got a 10. He was almost perfect. He was perfect. And the real question regarding Andreas Christensen is whether or not, with Thiago Silva now back in training, it looks as though Thiago Silva will in fact be fit for the game against Everton on Monday night. I really want to know what you guys have to say about this. With the way that Christensen's playing, with the way that Rudiger's been playing, can you afford to take either of those 2 players out of this team to make way again for Thiago Silva? It is the biggest question I've got for you guys in the comments below of this Chelsea player ratings video, as well as giving me all of your ratings for all the players. Let me know Who's going to lose their place to accommodate for Thiago Silva being back fit? Or do we just carry on with what is working very well at the moment? My argument behind this, I'm going to need a few days to think about it. Part of me is like, we don't change a winning formula that went to Anfield, the champions of England, and then just change it because someone else is back from injury. That part of me thinks we should, part of me thinks we shouldn't. I cannot make up my mind. Let me know in the comments below. But I've given Christensen a yellow just because practicality-wise, I'm not sure if he'll keep his place. I think he will, but I also think Tuchel will stick Thiago Silva back in the centre. The question is, can Christensen do the job that he's been doing in one of the other centre-back roles across this back three? We move into Tony Rudiger, who once again put on an absolute show last night, sticking Salah in his pocket. Salah comes off after 61 minutes. Does it matter? No. Diogo Jota, he moves over to the left. Sadio Mane comes over to Rudiger's side, and Rudiger's like, you know what? These pockets are pretty good. When I go on my cycle, I don't drop my phone out the side because these are deep. And he sticks Sadio Mane in there as well. It was a brilliant display from Rudiger. I thought for Christensen it was just a little bit better because there was a pass where Rudiger almost gifted Liverpool a goal, but we'll bypass that one today. I thought Rudiger was excellent again at the back for Chelsea. It is a 9 out of 10 for the German. We move into Reece James, Chelsea's right wing back of choice. I thought that it wasn't necessarily the most impressive game from either of Chelsea's wing backs yesterday. However, we did a job all over the field, and it wasn't just the centre backs who did well, and then the central midfielders, and then Werner and Mount. It wasn't just those guys who had good games. It was a team effort. It was a conglomerate of different things that enabled us to be the force that we were at Anfield last night. And I've given Reece James a 6.5. I think there were a couple of times where I thought he looked a little bit shaky in the defensive sector of the pitch. And going forward, he didn't really create that much, but he didn't allow Robertson that much space to go forward. There were a couple of times where Robertson did go forward, but the final delivery or the pass was poor. But I thought from Reece, it was nothing spectacular based off of the ceiling and the standard that we know he's set for himself in the past, but job well done. And we move into actually figuring out if I think Reece James will keep his place. I do, in fact, think he'll keep his place at right wing back for the game against Everton. So I've given him a green light. We move into Benjamin Chilwell, who I've also given a 6.5. I was thinking of giving Chilwell a 7. In fact, no, I'm going to give Chilwell a 7 because I think the defensive work that Chilwell did was absolutely excellent. And I think it's exactly the reason why Thomas Tuchel picked him, because he's much quicker going back. He's very agile in those defensive areas. And I think compared to the pace of Mohamed Salah, I think Tuchel looked at Alonso and thought, mate, you know what? I back you in the air and I back you going forward. But against the Egyptian king, as he's known on Merseyside, I don't quite think, Marcus, you're the man for the job. So Benjamin comes in, chills down, Mo Salah on the right-hand side, on Chelsea's left, and, well, basically, the rest is history. The rest is history thing, I hope you appreciate what I did there. And I do believe he will keep his place for the game against Everton. We move into N'Golo Kante, who once again, he almost, I wouldn't say he stole the show because there was a man who scored the winning goal who pretty much stole the show, but it was just a monstrous performance again from N'Golo Kante. Every time I see him and he's fit, he's just so good. He's just brilliant. Like, he wins the ball back. He passes like an absolute flipping Iniesta, Xavi. And it makes it to Mason Mount, and then we go and score. It was a phenomenal display again from N'Golo Kante. He could have been the man of the match. I didn't give him the man of the match. I gave it to Andreas Christensen. I thought Kante was absolutely excellent again, and I've given him a 9 out of 10. And of course, it's a green box for him to start. I keep saying it. I always say it. If he's fit, he plays. And as long as he's 100% fit and he's ready and he's not recovering still from this game against Liverpool, come the match against Everton, then for me, N'Golo Kante has to start. We move into Jorginho, who was actually very good again. I looked at the starting lineup. I discussed it with you guys via the chat over on the live stream that we did for the game. And a lot of you thought that it was ludicrous that Mateo Kovacic didn't start this game, considering the way that he's been playing. And Jorginho comes in, and once again, who are we to question Thomas Tuchel when he keeps making these selection choices and it keeps working in our favour. I thought Jorginho was fantastic. Timo Werner's goal, that didn't count as a goal, but in pretty much everyone's mind in world football, it was a bloody goal apart from that one straggly armpit hair that might have veered offside. That pass from Jorginho reminded me of that goal we scored at Vicarage Road against Watford, where Jorginho plays that little clip ball over the top, Tammy Abraham runs onto it and he's like dinkaroonie into the back of the net. It's exactly what I've been calling for from Jorginho. Whenever I criticise Jorginho's game, it's always because of the direction that he's playing the ball or attempting to play the ball. And against Atletico, which was the last time I really criticised him, despite winning, I said that too many of those final third passes weren't to the right man. They missed the man, they missed the target, and it didn't happen in this game against Liverpool. He was very clinical with the way he played, always looking forwards, which is a joy to behold. And when he does that, he's a brilliant footballer to watch, and I gave him an 8 out of 10. It was a solid display from J5. We move into the man of the moment. And Mason Mount, again, it's just every time he turns out on the pitch in a blue shirt, I'm worried. I'm thinking, like, has he been playing a bit too much? Is he still going to be a bit tired from that Man United game where he worked very hard? No, this man has got energy for flipping years, months, weeks, years, I mean decades. I'm supposed to be going up the ranks when I start to like express in more detail how great he is. It was phenomenal from Mason Mount. That finish made Fabinho look silly, and Fabinho's been one of the best defence-minded players in the Premier League for so long, and Mason Mount made him look like a fool. He was absolutely brilliant tonight, Mason. Created big chances in the game as well. It wasn't just the goal, and I think the fact he's adding goals to his game now really does show the level that Chelsea already see from Mason Mount, but the ceiling of this guy's ability is astronomical. I think he could go to the very top. And I mean, people criticise Mason and don't think he's good enough or whatever, but I think the conversation now is shifting away from, oh, is he even good enough for Chelsea? For me, the conversation about Mason Mount and the way he's playing right now is how good is he compared to the rest of the Premier League midfielders? I think the ceiling is, there's no ceiling for Mason Mount. I think he could become the very best in this league. Let me know your thoughts on that bold statement in the comments below. I've given him a 9.5 and pretty much the same as Kante, he's got to start for me. I gave Jorginho a yellow because we could see him interchange with Kovacic. Mason Mount definitely gets a green. And we move into Hakim Ziyech, who people said that I'm too harsh on Hakim Ziyech. I stand by everything I'm saying. I genuinely don't think Ziyech was good enough, again, to start the next game against Everton. So I've given him a red. The 20 minutes at the beginning of the second half, I thought he was good. I thought he was a lot better. We saw a couple of incisive passes. He almost had a goal, but for Robertson clearing the ball off the line. So it was better from Ziyech, but I still feel as though he should have come off. Whether the player that came on to replace him was better, you'll have to find out in a moment. But I gave Ziyech a 6.5. It would have been a bit lower if it wasn't for that 20 minutes at the beginning of the second half, where I actually thought he was very good. But with Havertz back now, I think somebody else, or Callum Hudson-Odoi, Pulisic, there's plenty of options, and I don't think he shone that much again to warrant a start again against Everton. But we finish off with Timo Werner, who I thought was absolutely brilliant in this game against Liverpool. He really should have scored that goal. You know, when Azpi clips him in and he hits it straight at Alisson, I'm like, Timo, mate, you've got to be burying that one. So for that reason, I gave him an 8. The goal that he scored was perfectly legitimate. How it got ruled out, I could sit here arguing about that one for the rest of eternity. But I won't do that because I want you to get on with your day once you finish this GBFC video and hit the like button. So it's an 8 out of 10 for Timo. The goal didn't come. It did, but it didn't. You know what I mean? And I thought his run-in was absolutely brilliant, but I know he could do better with the finishing. We then move into the substitutes. Before I do that, I need to remind you that Timo Werner is in fact a green light. I keep forgetting to mention the green lights, but you can see them on the screen as to what you think or what you see that I believe for the next one. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. We move into Christian Pulisic, who came on for Hakim Ziyech, and he struggled again to impose himself in the game, Christian Pulisic. I'm not just, you know, slating Ziyech and Pulisic because, you know, some people think I get like these agendas. It's nothing to do with an agenda. I love both individual players and I think they're going to be brilliant for Chelsea. But at the moment, For Pulisic, he's not quite got that rhythm, and he's not getting enough minutes. Granted, he's coming off the bench and having to impose himself in a team that's doing very well. So the players that we're comparing him to, it's difficult for Pulisic to really make a statement. But I'm not thinking at the moment that he's making too many statements. And I think between now and the end of the season, particularly with all these massive games coming up, I wouldn't be starting Christian Pulisic against Everton. And I've given him a red. I don't think he's going to start. I think, again, we'll see him come off the bench until he really does something that lights the game up. It's a 5.5 for Pulisic. I was quite disappointed, I'm not going to lie, when he came on. We move into Mateo Kovacic, who really is the last player that we can talk about in great detail. I thought what Kovacic did, I mean, it's Housery 101, this. Sadio Mane's down on the floor. The whistle's already gone. The ball is pretty much right next to Mane's head. And what does Kovacic go and do? He just boots it at his head. You know, I mean, we shouldn't joke because there is a lot of talk at the moment about head injuries in football. However, there was absolutely no malice involved in it whatsoever. If Kovacic meant to hurt Mane, I certainly wouldn't say it with like a sarcastic irony. But he didn't want to hurt Mane. It was just like he had the grip between his teeth. You could see, and they were squaring up to one another afterwards. Kova comes on, and he just gives that little bit of aggressive energy that I think Chelsea needed to see the game out. So for that reason, Kovacic gets a 6. Nothing major, but he did his job when he came on. And then Kai Havertz came on to kill a bit of time, really, to make a substitution, to make the 3 minutes of added time drag on a little bit. And Kai Havertz, I really want to see him playing more. I get so excited when I see him come on. The chat on the live stream went mental when he came on, even if it was for 125 seconds or whatever it was. But I actually stand by what I'm saying. In my match previews where I keep picking Havertz to start, I want him to start against Everton. So I've given him a green light because I want him to partner Timo Werner in the 2 attacking positions for that game. Let me know your thoughts on that one in the comments down below. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this video today. Let me know your player ratings and what you thought of this game in the comments down below. It's been a wonderful 24 hours. I think this is like the 4th piece of content I've posted. Be sure to go and check out Alex Goldberg's The Byline podcast if you want to go and listen to 2 hours more of me waffling on about Chelsea versus Liverpool, if you haven't already been sick of my face and voice in the past 24 hours. But yeah, thank you guys so much for the support. Subscribe if you're new, hit the like button if you enjoyed, and I'll catch you all tomorrow with a brand new video. Surprise, surprise. Come on, you Blues.